It's great to be here, firstly, and then we got to have a run on his bike up and down the mountain, which is nice with nobody else about, and just some promotional shots for the programme and everything for this year's TT.
So that's when you know you've made it at the TT then. It doesn't matter if you get two wins, it's been on the front cover of the programme, is it?
Yeah, it's an absolute honour. It's something that, you know, I've looked at since I was a kid. Every time we got here, a news on front cover, so real honour to be on it, and it's good for the sport.
And a little blat on the mountain as well. Conditions a bit iffy up here, but not quite as bad as Le Mans last week.
No, it were a bit damp, but not as bad as Le Mans. No.
Yeah, we were soaked last week. Conditions were unreal, but nice to just get a run up there. You know, you never normally get to do this kind of thing, so just here the bike on its own up there, it's amazing.
First time you've had the bike on the road this year, bit of a long layoff since the end of last season. Are things feeling good?
Yeah, good. We've put in quite a bit of testing, to be fair, on this bike, and it's in a good place, and it was nice just to use it on the road, because obviously it's just different to a track, and it feels good, yeah.
And how much of a difference does it make having the 600 in the World Trophy this year? Does it give you any sort of feedback for what you're doing with the TT and the roads, or is it a completely different beast?
It's a different beast, so to speak, in some ways, but it's perfect for the data that we collect off that. We can transfer it to this and vice versa, and it's nice to be using the same Honda engine all the time, albeit it's in a different chassis. But there's no transition to make from 1000 to 600 from one to the other, and it's good. It's working well for us.
2 wins last year, obviously that puts you right in the frame for, well, more success this year, but obviously with the way Molly was riding at the end of the races last year, a new lap record. I mean, does that mean the whole level jumps up this year? Do you have to work that much harder? What's it going to take to get a win on the mountain course this year?
It's going to be like any other year, difficult, and you know we come here knowing that, we all know that, and it definitely went up a notch for everyone last year, and you know there's no reason why it shouldn't keep climbing. We've done as much as we can to move our game on and to get better at what we do and how we do it. So, and I'm sure Dave has done the same, and along with the other competitors. And yeah, it'll be difficult as always, but that's why we're here. You know, we don't come to ride around.
Similar approach, you know. We're coming here not worrying about the wins from last year. We've got to try and notch up a couple more, you know, if possible on the day. But coming with same sort of idea, same approach. You know, it's TT. It's an incredible event. It's totally different to anything else. So 100% respect for it.
Molly's back with Dan Sale. They had a lot of success when they're together. Obviously, drivers have a bit of needle between themselves. The passengers, you know, do you rank yourselves against each other? You know, do you sort of measure yourself against each other, as it were?
Well, you know, Dan's an incredible competitor on this course, and his track record's amazing. You know, you always respect the lads who are doing what they do, because it is an hard job, you know. But you know, I'm confident with Ben. You know, when he's on 100%, so am I. You know, we're gonna come back and give all we've got. But yeah, you do look to a bit of inspiration from here and there. But you know, I'm quietly confident with what I do, and we'll come back and give it another go.
Right, so there's less than 2 months to go now. What's the plan between now and then?
A bit more preparation, bit more testing. It's just good to ride that bike, you know, as much as we can before we come and tick all them boxes and come and have a go.
Yeah, they're wanting to use the full front cover of the programme with the picture of Kate's cottage in the background, so try to get some shots similar to what we do when we're racing. Hopefully it'll look pretty cool. If
you scroll back sort of 10 months when you're waiting for the start of the Supersport Race 1, I mean, did you know then, you told Chris Kinley at the end of the race that you were not surprised to be back on the podium. You said you always intended to be back, but did you know that you were going to get back on that podium?
Well, you never know on the day, do you? But I knew at some point I would be doing, and things had gone pretty good with all my riding prior to the TT. Even though I hadn't ridden the 600, I was riding good, and the 600 felt good on the couple of practice laps I managed to do on it. So yeah, it was all kind of going in the right direction, and you just get a feeling when you know stuff's right before the Isle of Man, whether it's going to work for you, whether it's not.
I don't want to sort of keep dragging you back to it, but you really, like, in this sort of 5 years that you had to fight back to full fitness, I mean, did you really never doubt that you were going to get back on the top step?
Yeah, obviously at certain points when I was in hospital and my leg was absolutely just in such a state that I thought I'm going to be lucky to keep my leg, never mind race again. So, you know, I was realistic at times that it was important to try save my leg. But as soon as I was through any of that and, you know, my leg was back to a stable position, then it was all about trying to get fit to be able to race again.
This year you're coming obviously on the back of 3 wins. I mean, that must give you not just more confidence, but it must also sort of put that doubt out of your mind as well, that you can just focus on going faster and you know, doing what you need to do to win.
Yeah, it changes obviously a lot of your thought process and the way I come into the TT, and I've got bikes that I'm really happy with. I've spent a lot of time on the BMW, and the 600's obviously the same bike as last year, so you know, I'm confident and I can only do what I can do and the team can do what they can do, and then it all has to work out on the day. But I couldn't be happier the way I'm going into the TT, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you've been doing a lot of testing, as you said. I mean, you kind of went down back of your van, one-man sort of outfit to start with, and you've put in a lot of time down there. Can you tell us a little bit about the bike?
Yeah, it was just mainly, I mean, the bike's not totally different from a normal kind of Japanese motorcycle, I suppose, but it's not a Japanese motorcycle. So before the team came out and I started testing a super bike, I just wanted to be 100% sure of what the bike was like as a standard base model, really. So I got the super stock bike off the team and just went out there on my own with the intention to do some miles on the track day. So it worked out really good, and I got 4 days just riding round and round and round on the super stock bike. But as it happened, I clicked with the bike straight away the first day, and you know, I've loved riding it. So we've changed very little throughout all the testing, and I haven't really been testing, I've just been riding. So then when the super bike came out, you know, I could get on with it and jump straight on it and not start trying to go down a route that the bike didn't like or anything like that. You know, I knew what the standard bike was like, and so it made it a lot easier for me. And then we had 2 good tests as a team, and then I stayed back to do the Metzler tyre test as well. So we got through a lot of tyres there. We tested 30 different tyres in 3 days. So yeah, I've had a lot of miles on the bike, and then the team, we went to 2 British tests as well at Silverstone and Donington. It's gone really well at those, and obviously
and it paid off on Saturday. Well, at the weekend.
Yeah, at the weekend, the first race to get on the podium at Silverstone felt special. You know, I think it was, well, going into it, it was going to be my worst track for the year really, because the first time the BSB kind of outfit went to Silverstone was when my leg got done, so I didn't race there very much. And then I did a super stock race there a couple of years ago, and I was absolutely pitiful. So I wasn't expecting much from the weekend, but I knew I was riding good, and I thought if I can just get away safe and get the first race under my belt, we can go from there. And that's pretty much what happened, really.
So I think anyone who follows you on social media would realise that you've just been really enjoying this testing and actually getting back on track and just really having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice not to be scratching your head all the time and going out on a bike that you're struggling with and trying to make it work. You know, it's just clicked with me, and I just love riding it, and I just pull out a pit lane and jump straight on it and ride fast. So that's you know, the perfect scenario, really. Yeah.
Okay, well, turning attention to the TT then, I mean, you're not going to be happy with anything but wins, really. But this really, there's never been a year where it's been so close. Anyone in the top 5, 6, even top 7 or 8 could be a contender for the Superbike wins, and you know, top 10 or so in the super sport races. It's going to be really tough. I mean, John and Michael are going to be up there, and Bruce as well. So, you know, what would you do to get the sort of headspace you need to set off and win a race?
I've just got to work as hard as I can in practice week to make sure my bike's fit for the race, you know, and then it doesn't matter to me who's going to be fast, because there's always going to be somebody that's your competition. So I've just got to work on my own stuff and work on my own bike and make sure that I'm in a comfortable position to be able to push hard. And you know, if somebody's going to push with me, then I'll have to try and do a bit more.
And between now and then, it's a bit less than 2 months now. What are your plans for between now and then?
Really busy just with riding really. We've got a test at Alton Park next week, which I'll be testing Superbike, Superstock and 600 all in the day, so that's going to be a hectic day. And then the week after we've got the Alton Park race, which I'm racing in the Superstock and the 600 class, so we can get a run out on the 600 before the Northwest. And then we've got a test at Kyrgyzstan on the Superbike before the Northwest, and then the Northwest 200 obviously, and then come back from that to another British round on the Superstock bike at Brands Hatch, and then we're at the TT, so I'm pretty much going to be on a motorbike from now until the TT.
So Lee, what's been going on since last year? We last spoke to you I think just before the Classic TT. We're now here just ahead of the TT. What's been going on in the off season?
Probably most of the stuff I can't really talk about, but not much. The usual things that everybody does. I get away from riding bikes, to be honest. You know what I mean? Haven't ridden a bike probably from Macau right through to February, March time. So I took a good gap and back out my bicycles and stuff. I've even been over on the Isle of Man doing a little bit of cycling and stuff as well. So just the general things that everybody tends to does, and then trying to get back fit now and ready. We've been doing some tests and stuff lately, and first race this weekend at Scarborough Spring Cup, so looking forward to getting back racing again, really, to be honest.
So you've been keeping busy with the charity fundraising as well?
Yeah, it's been going really good actually. We've sort of branching out a little bit from, it started off just with the motorbike racing with me and stuff like that, so I'm lucky enough to have some friends that do other sports and rallycross, rallying, drifting and stuff like that. So we were at a car show, Dubshed, last weekend in Northern Ireland, which was really good. So we're official charity for that show and stuff. So it was really good to get into a different sort of market for the charity and stuff, and just get it a bit widely known. And it's going really good. You know what I mean? We've made more money I think the start of this year already than halfway through the year last year and stuff. So big thanks to everybody that's been donating and helping out.
Okay, and let's just turn to the racing then. You're staying with the same team as last year and building on success. I mean, first podium in the big bike race, the Superstock race last year. I mean, the aim has got to be obviously to improve on that, but it's going to be a really tough field this year.
Yeah, I think it's getting tougher every year. A fan actually said that to me last week. He says it's meant for the fans now because we go and 10 people could win a race. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe 5-6 years ago it was, you know, John, Brochure, Hutchie, that was sort of it, and then Michael's come along. But now I think there's a broader sort of field. Not saying it's any better than or harder it was years ago, but there's definitely a bigger depth and stuff there, which is awesome. But it's just for us young guys trying to come through, it just makes it a little bit tougher. But yeah, I'm up for the challenge. You know what I mean? I've stayed with the same team for good reason. They're a good team, good bikes, and we've no real reason to leave. So. Yeah, we'd like to try and win one, but it'll not be for the lack of trying, but we'll definitely be there, and hopefully we'll get one.
The top 10 are all going to be in with a chance in a big bike race. You're obviously aiming to be on that top step of the podium, but if you had to put money on now, who would you say the top 3 of the rivals would be there then?
I think you can't go far past the factory bikes, you know what I mean? I know we're a privateer team and the bikes are good and stuff, but you've got obviously the likes of Hickman's on a factory Kawasaki now, John's still on the trusty Honda, and obviously Michael's on good BMWs, and Hutchie's just signed for the factory BMW team, so there's 4 guys straight away. Bruce is on essentially factory Hondas. It's, the list goes on, doesn't it? Like, and then you have the likes of Dean Harrison coming back to Kawasaki's and stuff as well. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. Like, definitely. And Hillier's obviously on good Kawasaki. You know, you've got guys that have all podiumed numerous times. So I've only had one. Maybe it was a fluke. I might never get back.